Hey, don't go anywhere. Midweek update at Spanky's Hot Rods and Customs. Want to show you something cool today. We're going to do a little trick, make life a little bit easier when you're working on your hot rod. All right, so what we're going to do today is install a fuse block in this old 55 Chevy pickup truck. And it's something that you want to do, you want to think it out, you want it to be simple to get to, simple to see if you've got a problem, simple to fix that problem. You don't want to have to remove a lot of doors and compartments and remove the seat or anything like that. So let's find a great place to put this, make a template, make a mounting location, and get this thing mounted so that we can start pulling some wires. All right, so this is the block that we've got to mount. It's got two mounting locations, right here and right here at the bottom. All right, and we want to be able to see it when we look up underneath the dash, but we do not want to see it when we're not looking under the dash. So let's make us some type of a template, and let's see if we can find a good spot to put this. Now, the first thing that I've done is the firewall is already smooth. It's already painted. I don't want to drill any holes in the firewall. I don't want to weld to the firewall on the inside. We're going to build a bracket underneath here to put our AC vents. We don't want it to be cluttered, and we still need to be able to access the panel, and we don't want to see it right here. So the kick panels are out of the question. I don't want any bulky kick panels because we're trying to hide wires. So best thing to do is look up inside here, and we see I've got a couple of mounts right here. These are dash rods that are going down to the steering column mount, okay? And that they are in place. They're not going to ever move. So I think that might be a great location. That's really the only thing that I've got. Now I've got emergency brakes that go up underneath here that we're going to modify later. So let's see if we can't build something and utilize that right there. And right now is a great time because I can go through this gauge hole and be able to use both hands without getting on my back. So if you're new to the channel, you know that I try to do simple things to help you out when you're building your hot rods. I use simple items, simple products. We're not going to go and do any kind of CNC machining. We're going to use our CAD program. Cardboard Assistant Design. Okay, so the first thing that I've learned in CAD design is to try to square up your cardboard best you can do it. Go ahead and make you a couple of reference points so you know that you're square on the edges that aren't already cut. And then let's go ahead and make our marks for our mounting holes. All right, you can't see that, but we're going to turn that into something. All right, so now we need a tab, something similar to this right here that we can use to cut off over here and bend and use as a mounting point. So let's figure out what we're going to do there. Voila, the magic of television. So I've got this cut out. I've got my references made for the mounting locations. I got the little tab that we made. Let's go see if we can fit this in the car and get it somewhat where we want it. All right, so here I'm going to give you a snake's view of this. And because of where we decided to put this, I'm going to say that we want to put this somewhere up in there like that. So that means we need to modify this tab a little bit. And by doing so, we can then move it around and bend it where we want it. So let's mark that. let's take our CAD design over there and see if it fits. Not very easy to get you guys in here with me. I'm gonna go ahead and put this where it's gonna go, clamp it in, and then let you guys look at it. All right, there we go. That's about what we're gonna look like. And you can see that it's well tucked up under the dash. But if you get down here just like this and go up under the dash a little bit, you'll be able to see all of your fuses and pull all of your wire. It won't be dangling down right here getting in your way. So, and it won't be flimsy like this when we get it made out of steel. So now let's take this design, transfer it over to a piece of steel, and see if it's still gonna work for us. All right, so I got a piece of steel that I believe is gonna work. It may be a little heavier than what I need, but it's a piece of scrap and that's what we're gonna do. There we go. That was pretty simple. Basically all I did was cut this out, that piece of steel, make my reference points, take the little tab that we bent over to the side, and there we go. Simple as that. So now let's see if this is going to actually fit where we want it to go. Let's clamp it in place, make sure that we're all on the same page, and then we'll go for the next step. All right, so here we go this time. Take our little bracket that we made. All right, there we go. Now you can see that you have access to all of your fuses by just looking under the dash. Now you can't see anything, and it's safely mounted out of the way and it will not move. So now let's double check everything before we move to the next stop. All right, so what I'm doing here is just making sure that I can mount this where I drilled the holes and that the holes look like they're in the right spot and everything looks good, and that should mount that up underneath the dash. My words are written to where they're right side up. Everything looks good. All right, so the next step I found some screws that are at least 2.5 inches long, and that's what I needed. And I've got some of these little rib nuts. It's basically like a rivet. You drill a hole just the right size. You can drop these down in there, and then you use a insert tool. They're also called nut certs. There's a couple different terms that I use for them. Anyway, let's squeeze these in and see if it swells up like it's supposed to. You don't want to go too far with it because these are aluminum and they will strip out on you. All right, we got one in. Let's get the other one in. All right, let's get this second nut cert in. Screw it on that way. Slide it in the hole. Clamp it down, pull the trigger. It swells up on the back side. Not to go too far because these are aluminum and you will pull the threads out. And there we go. Got that done. And now let's take it over. After we unscrew this, we'll take it over and see how it fits. Basically, gave us some threads. These little nut certs are absolutely marvelous when it comes to not being able to get to the back side of something. Now you could get to the back side of this, but it's so much easier just to be able to do it like this. We'll put washers on these after we get this thing installed permanently. All right, there we go. It fits this fine. Now we got to make sure we can either weld this in place or bolt it in place. Welding it's fine. It'll just become part of the car. And the part that we're welding it to has not been painted yet. So let's take it back apart, find our permanent location, and move on. All right, so that's going to be our final location. I've got to knock the paint off of that rod, and then we'll get that thing, I'll just put a couple little spot welds in the side right here that you'll be able to grind down and won't see. All right, so all I did is make it to where I could plug weld it. All right, so there we go. It is drilled, ready to plug weld into the side of that bracket. A couple of things that I want to point out that I considered when putting it there. One was the fact that I couldn't see anything from it. The other is the fact that I need to be able to get a gauge cluster in from the back side and not have any kind of interference. The linkage that goes to the transmission for the wiper arm needed to make sure that it still had its back and forth movements. And then I didn't want to see it from anywhere in here. So that is why I put it right there. So now let's get that thing welded in. If you're just now finding the channel, my name is Mike, aka Spanky. On this channel, we're not going to take a computer and design a part and 3D print it. I've been a professional car builder for 25 plus 30 years, and I am teaching you how to get a professional result using scraps or whatever we've got laying around and come up with a design that fits your needs, that gets the job done quick, simple, and efficiently. I'm not going to over-educate it, over-talk it like I'm doing now. We're just going to get it done. So right now I'm cutting off or sanding off all the burrs. We want to prime this with some weld-through primer in this little area right here, and we're going to prime and sand or prime and paint the rest of it so we won't have to touch it again. All right, there we go. I just hit 3 little plug welds right there, and it's good to go. And I already painted the most part of it, shot some weld-through primer over here. Now I'm fixing to hit this, and that'll be good. Ready to put the harness kit in. Well, guys, you can see it down in there. That's what we made today. Let's take a look at it from under the dash. Now you can't see any of this from right here. So if you're new to the channel, I'm Mike, aka Spanky. Spanky's Hot Rods and Customs at Home. I've been doing this for quite a while, and I'm trying to give back to the hot rod community a little bit of professional knowledge to help you in your shop at home with some tips and tricks to save you some money. I'm not going to be making anything out of a billet piece of aluminum or anything like that, trying to show off any tools that you may not have at home. Simple tools, simple designs to get the job done and make it look clean. Let's take a look at this wiring kit. Now, I've been selling this wiring kit. I'm not trying to sell you one, guys, promise you. I've been selling this wiring kit for over 25 years. I had this kit made for me. It is an overseas kit, but I promise you it's the best of the best that I can source, and I'll put it up against anything else. This kit right here, really good bang for the buck. Comes with your instructions, everything that you need to get the wiring kit on your car, GM type terminals. All the wires are labeled, showing you every inch where it goes. Alternator kits, ground wires, all of your turn signals, all the switches and the adapters, but they're all universal. Simple instructions on where all the wires go if you've never wired a car before. Page after page, how to wire the starter, how to wire the alternator, how to wire the gauges. So this kit shipped to your door for around 185 bucks, depending on where your door is. I'm reaching a lot of people right now, and that is a 2024 price. If you're watching this in 2030 and I'm still around, it's gone up a little bit. Well, guys, if you're new to the channel, you don't know who I am, I'm Spanky, Spanky's Hot Rods and Customs at home, teaching you tips and tricks on how to get the job done right. So, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, give me a thumbs up, let me know what you thought about the video, catch the rest of the videos on this truck right here, all the way from the chassis, paint, and final assembly, and driving it down the road. As always, if you're through watching, get out in the garage and go build something. See you guys this weekend with another hot episode from the Midwest Roadster Run.